A reminder, the news doesn't end here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m. A major Border Patrol operation could be coming to Charlotte as soon as next week. What local law enforcement is saying about it.
Now that the sales tax increase has passed, Charlotte leaders are moving forward with selecting members to serve on the new Transportation Authority. Coming up, what they're looking for as interviews begin today.
Tonight, the NCDOT will hear from nervous neighbors on the I-77 expansion project.
Doing nothing is not an option on this corridor.
Even if it is widening it, it's still people live here.
What the project could mean for your community as folks fear they'll be forced out of their homes.
As it gets colder, you might think you're safe from mosquitoes, but not so fast.
We'll tell you how those little critters manage to stick around. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. Want to give you a big update. This is going to be on I-85 southbound lanes, Concord Mills Boulevard. That's where we do have an accident there. You can see cars are really starting to become more jam-packed as we're following an active crash for you this morning. So if you take I-85, if you're coming from Concord towards Charlotte, that's where we do have delays. Right now, we know at least one lane is blocked at exit 49. So try to take North Tryon Street. Remember, it's southbound lanes being impacted, though.
Thanks, La Majestic. Check it out. Our high temperatures over the next few days on the rise, even mid to the upper 70s. And after that, pretty much back to normal in the mid to the upper 60s. Enjoy the warm up.
And earlier we asked, which Thanksgiving dish are you willing to pay full price for? We're going to have your answers coming up on WCNC Plus, streaming live starting at 7 o'clock. Make sure you join us there. Make this a wonderful Wednesday.
streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Wednesday. The good news is we are not as cold as we were for the past 2 mornings, and our temperatures are only going up. Chris.
Thank goodness. Yeah, we had back-to-back mornings starting around that freezing point. Haven't done that since last February. We also haven't been this cold since February 21st, and that was yesterday. We didn't even reach that 50-degree point, but today we're back to the mid-60s. This weekend, the mid-70s, and no rain expected for the next week. And I'm talking about the next 7 days. The next rain chance I have, not this Friday, the following Friday. That's day 10 of the forecast, but it's going to be a nice above-average run after we went the complete opposite. Feeling more like January to start off the week. 39 degrees is where we're at right now. Flannel weather, absolutely, for a lot of us. 36 degrees actual temperature right around Statesville. Albemarle, you're one of the cooler spots. You're at 30 degrees, near freezing for you over in Rockingham. So temperatures all over the place, pretty much collecting all of the 30s you possibly can have. Rest of this morning, from 8 to 10 to around noon. Around the noon hour, I think we're going to be close to 60 degrees, and then we eventually slip into lower to the mid-60s. This is going to be a nice little trend, but this was a historic cool down because a lot of areas, including Florida, dropped down to a temperature that they haven't seen in close to about 20 years. For us, this is just another cool spot for November, but at least we are not going to visit here any longer. And looking off at the distance, check this out. Our Dallas camera is the one that you're looking at right now. A beautiful start. Our sun officially has risen up, and once that sun sets a little bit later on, we are looking at another chance of seeing some of the auroras. So especially if you take a picture of it and you adjust the exposure, and I'll have a little bit more on exactly the settings you should do that with if you want to try to check it out later on. It should be a perfectly clear sky. I have some friends up in the Northeast. They're not going to be able to see it, even though it could be a breathtaking view, but they're going to be dealing with more clouds. We barely even have a cloud in the sky. 52 degrees for a high right around Boone, 65 around Hickory, and then temperatures should fall pretty quickly back to the upper 40s by 11 p.m. So a chilly one, but again, not super cold. Tonight, temperatures back to the upper 30s, which, by the way, should be around 40 degrees this day in climatology. We're pretty much there over the next couple of mornings, mid-40s on Saturday, and then with more clouds possibly moving in. Sunday, starting off very warm in the mid to the upper 50s. That would actually be one of the warmest starts we've had for November 16th history here in Charlotte. KP index. So what exactly does this mean? KPE index, just really simplifying it, shows that the higher the number is the lower in latitude that the auroras can be, or in this case, the aurora borealis. The other one that happens in the southern hemisphere is the aurora australis around Australia. Well, whenever you have a KP 7 to 9, that includes the Carolinas, and that's exactly where we were yesterday, and we're going to be there again later on heading into the evening. Now, here's the deal. We're going to see the absolute biggest burst that's going to allow the auroras around the middle of the day. The sun's going to be up at that point, but we're still going to have enough energy that we potentially could see it once that sun sets. So I think really anywhere between about 6 and about 11, you're going to have a possibility. So just kind of keep that in mind. You might be able to visibly see it, but most likely it will take an enhanced camera lens. Heading into the weekend, we have a warm front that's going to warm us up. For a cool down eventually is going to be in place along a cold front, but it's not really going to affect us too much, and it's going to keep us certainly dry. I think we do have our next rain chance for our area on Sunday along the Tennessee border for you in the high country, but for around the Charlotte area, a whole lot of nothing beyond 7 days. The next chance for rain, not this Friday, the following Friday. That's right. So it's not until the 21st we're calling for another chance for rain. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s over the next couple, at most just adding a few clouds to at worst partly cloudy skies by tomorrow. And through the weekend, not just the mid 70s, even a shot at the mid to the upper 70s. This is close to a record, but not record breaking, but hey, it is still nice to see. And the cool down is nothing like what we just saw, just back to the mid 60s, which is still above average for this time of year. Majestic, this is fantastic. I'm glad we're making up for those colder times.
Oh, that cold was brutal. It's going to be a nice few days ahead, that's for sure. Hey, want to let you know if you take I-85, I have my eyes on a crash for you this morning. It's really going to be on I-85 southbound. This is Concord Mills Boulevard, the exit right there. You can see cars are moving, but they're moving quite slowly. You can see a crash right here in this lane. So at least one lane is currently blocked off. This will really be if you're coming in to Charlotte from Concord and you take I-85. This is what we're seeing on my map here. You can see all the red, really just indicating those delays. Again, one lane is currently blocked because of that crash, specifically at exit 49. So again, from Concord towards Charlotte is the direction in which we're seeing those impacts. So you don't want to take I-85 this morning. Instead, your best alternate route from Concord towards Charlotte is take North Tryon Street. Also, we're seeing some delays already building right here. It's been ongoing for a while now. I-485, we have two back-to-back crashes, both of them on the outer loop right here. Southbound lanes just after exit 30, that's Wilkinson Boulevard. You can see the red really blocking one lane there, but those delays are going to last at least 5 to 10 minutes is what they have it slotted at right now. And then just to the south of that, the right-hand shoulder is blocked because of an additional crash. So following two crashes really close to one another, Wilkinson Boulevard nearing Berry Hill. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this. Again, it's not completely shut down or anything like that. It's just adding to that busy morning commute. And then I-77 exit 5, Tyvola Road. I've been watching this for you all morning long. Still seeing some minor delays right there with that ongoing wreck. I want to give you an update taking you south, or actually north of Uptown from Cornelius to Huntersville. No accidents, just our delays starting to build mainly in those inbound lanes, and much of the same on I-85, but no crashes to report right there.
Well, this morning we are learning more as NBC News reports that Border Patrol will start an immigration enforcement operation right here in Charlotte. It's according to the Department of Homeland Security. It's not clear why Charlotte or when the operation will happen, but about 200 Border Patrol agents and their commander, who you see right there, who've been stationed in Chicago, are expected to leave there this week. Last night, the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office says it has not been contacted by Border Patrol. The sheriff says he's requesting the Border Patrol notify his office before any local operation to help ensure the safety of everybody involved. Now, this will be the first city where Border Patrol is going to lead an operation without coordinating with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, despite the fact that ICE has already been making arrests here. When we first broke this story on WCNC Plus, we also had the chance to speak to a former federal agent, M. Quentin Williams, who gave us his perspective.
When federal law enforcement comes into town, they are supposed to alert and work with local law enforcement. It makes for a better collaboration with the city. It makes for a safer engagement. And from what I understand, that has not happened.
Of course, you already have WCNC Plus because you're watching us right now, but always tune in for the latest on breaking news.
7:07 now. This morning, neighbors are speaking out about what they say are potential problems with that I-77 South Toll project. We told you about this yesterday. This comes after the State Department of Transportation stressed that a final decision has not been made on the design of the lanes. We're talking about the toll lanes. For reference, this is a look at that 11-mile stretch. This would go from Uptown all the way to the South Carolina border. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley explains what this project means for you.
Residents are frustrated by what they call lack of transparency and worry the project on this interstate will force homeowners to move.
You're going to have a highway with noise. You're going to have all kinds of collisions. It's just going to take away the peace that we have here.
Kenneth Henderson has lived in McCrory Heights for the past 4 years. He fears toll lanes from Uptown to South Carolina will hurt his community.
I don't think it should come through residential. Even if it is widening it, it's still people live here.
NCDOT says the 11-mile stretch of I-77 hasn't been widened since the 1990s.
Doing nothing is not an option on this corridor. Without these improvements, congestion and safety conditions will continue to worsen as our region grows to more than 4 million residents by 2050.
Other plans call for building direct connectors to some interchanges and rebuilding bridges and interchanges.
We just need to make sure that we answer those questions appropriately, and the appropriate response is no impact on Black and brown communities, because we've already been here before.
Charlotte Council member Malcolm Graham says though I-77 needs improvements, there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
Just by looking at the preliminary designs, they're worrisome to me, and they're worrisome to a lot of residents in the community in terms of the significance of impact on cemeteries, on neighborhoods, on a park.
And there are 2 public meetings scheduled for this week from 4 to 7 o'clock. Wednesday's meeting will be held at Johnson C. Smith University, and Thursday's meeting will be held at Silver Mount Baptist Church. In Charlotte, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
And this morning, we're going to hear from Shauna Bell from the McCrory Heights Neighborhood Association, one of many concerned neighbors in opposition to this project. And that interview is coming up in about 90 minutes right here on WCNC+.
7:10 right now. The government shutdown one step closer to ending. How soon the House could vote on the bill to end the longest shutdown in history.
And as we head to break, WCNC Charlotte is teaming up with Nourish Up to help our neighbors in need. If you'd like to donate, you can do so by texting Stuff the Truck to that number on your screen. Of course, thanks to Lowe's Home Improvement, your impact is going to go even further. Lowe's is matching every donation dollar for dollar up to $100,000. The time is now 7:13. After 43 days, the government could finally reopen today. This is a live look from the Capitol, where the House is set to vote on that Senate-passed bill to fund the government through the end of January. The House Rules Committee cleared that bill and set the term for the debate today. Now, if it passes, this is important, the president could sign it tonight, and that would end the longest shutdown in U.S. history.
That said, air travelers and federal workers won't see immediate relief. NBC's Alice Barr has more on why flights and back pay might take some time.
On what could be the final day of the nation's longest government shutdown, House members are racing back to Washington to cast a critical vote on the Senate-passed short-term funding bill.
Welcome back from your taxpayer-funded 7-week vacation.
Democratic leadership slamming the House Speaker's move to keep members out of session while the shutdown dragged on, as Republicans pin the pain on Democrats.
For 42 days and counting, Democrats have held the country hostage.
House Democrats set to vote against the deal a breakaway group of Senate moderates agreed to, angered that it does nothing to address the central sticking point of lowering health care costs and extending Affordable Care Act tax credits.
Health care costs are still poised to double or even triple for some folks practically overnight.
With a newly elected Democrat being sworn in today, House Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes. It is expected to pass and secure President Trump's signature.
We're opening up our country. Should have never been closed.
Relief can't come soon enough for the nation's airports, where flight delays and cancellations are growing.
It has to be the shutdown. What else could it be? This has never happened to me before.
The transportation secretary warning the situation driven by staffing shortages will get much worse if the shutdown stretches into the weekend.
If this doesn't open, you might have airlines that say, we're gonna ground our planes.
A lot on the line in the final push to get the government back in business. Even if the funding bill passes and President Trump signs it tonight, officials are warning a shutdown is not an on-off switch. Airlines say they won't be able to bounce back to full capacity right away. Delays also likely for the 40 million Americans waiting for full SNAP food assistance benefits. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Small businesses here in North Carolina say they're struggling to survive amid the shutdown. According to the U.S. Chamber, more than $36 million in weekly payments to North Carolina businesses are at risk. Many of those small business contractors we spoke to say when the government is shut down, the ripple effect is immediate.
Instability and even some fear. There's some fear for the communities that we work with that their voices are going to go unheard.
It's also not just contractors. Economists say this shutdown is slowing down job growth and spending across the board. Meantime, we continue to follow disruptions over at Charlotte Douglas because of the shutdown. Take a look at this. As of right now, 7:16, 36 cancellations, 6 delays. Airport officials urge you to check your flight status and arrive at least 2 hours before takeoff. Speaking of, coming up in about an hour, officials over at Charlotte Douglas are going to join us right here live on WCNC Plus, give us an update on how the shutdown is impacting travel. Also, looking ahead 2 weeks to Thanksgiving travel, always a super busy time over at the airport. Catch that interview live right here on WCNC Plus at 8 a.m.
Make sure you stay with us. We're going to have another update on your forecast for this Wednesday, as well as a track of the morning commute. Stay with us.
At the story, sprinkle time for today's tiny town way over in western North Carolina, Fontana Dam, also known as Fontana Village. As you can see the sign right there, welcome to Fontana Village. You can have a great time. In fact, there is Fontana Dam over in western North Carolina, over in Graham County. Fontana Village, also known as Fontana Dam. Population, the actual population, one of the smallest towns in the southeastern part of the United States. population 13 with a lot of tourists obviously come in. Square miles, about 6/10, a little over 6/10 of a square mile as far as extent of the area. The Village Resort there in Fontana, North Carolina, Fontana Dam, Fontana Village. That is today's Tiny Town. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
All right, check this out. The Hornets unveiling some new threads. The team showing off this year's City Edition uniforms. The jerseys, bright yellow with blue and teal accents, represents the colors of the bird of paradise flower, one that Queen Elizabeth was enamored with. Uniform's title is, in fact, Hooper's Paradise. Hornets forward Grant Williams was on hand for the announcement, and he says that name is it's a name that truly represents the Carolinas.
It's the biggest truth. When you think of the Carolinas across both North and South, you have more basketball players than you can imagine that either played here both growing up, played with an AAU team here, played collegiately here. Like, I think in the past 16 years, there's been a North Carolina or South Carolina representative in the finals. When you think about the players that have come through this state, like whether it's Michael Jordan, whether it's James Worthy, whether it's Chris Paul, Steph Curry, like those are just some names to throw around. And then you have the current players and myself and Brandon Ingram and other guys, Bam Adebayo, like this, the list goes on and on. So for me, Hooper's Paradise is synonymous with Charlotte, and not only just Charlotte, but the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, because when you think of basketball, this is the Mecca.
By the way, named for Queen Charlotte.
I've got to say, I really like the colors.
It's cool.
Right?
Really cool.
I do like it.
All right, folks. Hey, a footnote we want to tell you about coming up here on WCNC Plus. Tune in next Tuesday, 6:30. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich is going to have his annual winter weather outlook. What to expect? Is it going to be a bad winter, an okay winter? Tune in to WCNC Plus next Tuesday to find out what to expect. All right, Chris, let's look more in the near term at the forecast.
Okay, let's do it. Well, first off, this is one example. Justin Rose sent this from Lake Norman. What you could capture per chance as the sun sets a little bit later on. Now, truly, we're going to have our biggest burst that's going to trigger something like this when the sun is up. That doesn't help us out whatsoever, but we're still going to have a lot of activity that's going to come from this. And that is one last chance to see the auroras. We already did this once this year, which is pretty crazy. And really, it's just earlier this morning we saw a little bit of those pink hues from our cameras, but it's really after sunset. And stay tuned for updates, because there's going to be active updates every 3 hours or so. There's a new update about like how strong it is or not. But if you are planning on trying to catch the auroras, most likely just on your phone, you need to go to a darker location, and it's those longer exposure pics that are really going to help you. And you can take that night shot on your smartphone, and I'm going to go through some of the settings here in just 1 second. Now, our KP index forecast, anything that's around a 7 to 8, and that's exactly what we're forecasted for later on today. That means you're going to be able to see it here in the Carolinas, and you saw a lot of great pics. Now, most likely to the naked eye, you didn't see anything, but a lot of our cameras picked up on it, and there's a lot of different settings you can go through as well. So just keep that in mind. It really is going to be between about 6 and 11. That's going to be the best chance for that. Okay, so this is going to be some advanced camera tricks, but if you go to any of the pro settings on your iPhone or also on your Android, doesn't matter, this is across the board. Now for the iPhone, just let you know, just go to the moon setting and drag it over as far as you can to around 10 seconds. That's gonna help out. But there's one setting that's called ISO, and this is gonna boost sensitivity. Start low around 800 and slowly start to increase this as much as 3200. This is gonna help with the visibility. The shutter speed, this is what I was talking about for iPhones. You literally can kind of see these cross marks with a little moon symbol. When it's dark out, if you can move that up to around 10 seconds, that's ideally. But when the aurora is active, which is a possibility heading into this evening, anywhere from 5 to 8 seconds, and if it's faint, about 10 to 15. So mess with that. But also, the biggest deal, whenever you have a shutter speed that's 5 to 15 seconds, it means you literally have to hold it in place. You want to have it steady, so if you have a tripod, that's much better. And then also a manual focus is going to help you take this. So any sort of night chart on the smartphone is definitely going to help this out. These are the technical settings that you need to try to capture that picture a little bit later on. Again, it's an outside chance that we're going to see that. Keep updated with it, and then just try after 6 to about 10 o'clock. That looks to be the sweet spot overall, and happy picture taking. Let's get right over to Majestic, which hopefully is a happy morning commute.
Good morning, everyone. We are still following I-85 southbound lanes. This is Concord Mills Boulevard exit there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes moving, but they're moving very slowly. And one lane is currently blocked because of that crash right there. So this is a very well-traveled area this time of the day, and we are really seeing those significant delays still. Let me show you what I'm looking at on my map right here. You can see all of the red against southbound lanes. If you're going to be coming in from areas around Concord towards the city, that's where we do have those significant impacts this morning. Specifically, the crash happened at exit 49. That's that camera that I just showed you. So I suggest not taking I-85 southbound this morning. Instead, you might just want to take North Tryon Street instead. That's where we do have mainly green conditions. We'll keep you up to date with that. And then I-485, the outer loop, we're following 2 active crashes there. This one here is at exit 30 Wilkinson Boulevard, and then just to the south another one that does have the shoulder blocked, but a lot of stop and go traffic in this specific area.
7:25 right now. Live pictures over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday. Good to see you. 66 degrees, not too bad. Because yesterday, we had highs in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. This is much better and a little bit more on brand for where we should be this time in November. Winds out of the southwest could be breezy, gusting up to 20 miles per hour at times. So from night to night, dropping down to the upper 30s right around sunrise. Sunrise time close to about 6:56, so we are approaching that 7 o'clock hour. And our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that we're on the way up, right around 70 degrees come Friday. And then we have the mid to the upper 70s, a beautiful weekend on the way before we readjust back to the mid 60s where we should be this time of year. Majestic, take it away. What's going on this morning?
Hey, if you take I-85 southbound, take a look at your TV screen because this is going to be quite problematic for you. We're following a crash. You can see it here. It's going to be at Concord Mills Boulevard. You can see those 4 lanes are still moving. They're just moving very slowly. And again, 1 lane is going to be blocked. This will be specifically on I-85 southbound. If you're coming from Kannapolis or Concord, that's where we do have 1 lane that's blocked. So your best alternate route this morning, don't take I-85 southbound. Instead, take North Tryon.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Wednesday. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Let's begin the half hour with your weather impact forecast and another cold morning. But from here, it's up, Chris.
Sure is. And as the sun is up, this is the way our sky is going to look like all day long. Beautiful sunny skies. But yesterday it was sunny, but it didn't really help too much because high temperatures only in the upper 40s. Yeah, we've been in the lower 50s, the upper 40s for our highs the last couple of days. And the sunshine at least is back for the time being. And we'll filter in a few clouds on and off throughout the next few days. But yeah, it has been quite chilly, feeling more like January. Well, we're back to November status for at least the afternoon today, and pretty close to where we should be for our lows as well. It is freezing for you right now around Lincolnton and Lincoln County. It is absolutely freezing around Albemarle over in Stanley County, 34s for Wadesboro and Rockingham, and one of the warmer spots, 43 right now in North Wilkesboro. So the temperatures all over the place. As far as our after school forecast, we're mainly going to be in the lower to the mid 40s. Over the next hour or so. So we're closing out the 7 o'clock hour likely in the lower 40s. And when the kids are getting home, we have the lower to the mid 60s. It's a nice forecast. So the tools of the day. This is an interesting time of year still when we're getting a little bit warmer for the afternoon. How do you dress? Well, dress mainly for the morning because you're talking about the jacket, still hoodie, and pants type weather. Now, I think the only exception for today compared to the last couple is maybe you have a t-shirt underneath the sweatshirt compared to maybe long sleeves on top of long sleeves like what you had yesterday. And dare I say, a little bit later on in the week, I think we might even have some shorts-worthy mornings and afternoons. So yeah, the 57 that still is chilly come Sunday morning, but then that means we're going to be warming up nicely. I'm talking about a big surge back to the 70s come this weekend. But as for today, our high temperatures reaching the mid 60s, which by the way, 64 is where we should be for this day in climatology. The big shift today are winds out of the west-southwest. So anytime you have winds out of the southwest, that's going to crank up Mother Nature's thermostat, and it will be breezy at times, gusting to about 20 miles per hour, so that will make you feel a little bit cooler overall. But the power of the sunshine always makes you feel at least 10 degrees warmer as you're standing directly in it. Even though I already showed you our temperatures, just want to show you that in general, it's a warmer day. These are the temperature differences from just 24 hours ago. Right now, it is 12 degrees warmer for you in Shelby. You have Jefferson that's 17 degrees warmer than just a day ago. And then it's a 10-degree upgrade for you in Gastonia and around the Charlotte area. So enjoy it while we have it. Now, where are our temperatures going in the short term? So I'll jump right to our 7-day forecast brought to us by the Jerry Hunt Super Center. 66 today is actually one of the cooler temperatures over the next 5. Still above normal, but you can see each day we're heading on an upward trajectory, and it really ramps up heading into the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, where Sunday, dare I even say, the mid to the upper 70s are going to be upon us. So that's going to be a picture-perfect forecast there. And we should have a nice mix of clouds and sunshine. I think a little bit more on the sunnier side overall, with high temperatures still meandering in the mid-60s by Monday and Tuesday, as a cold front is going to start to wind things down overall. Meanwhile, our wind chills are going to be a little bit on the chillier side, especially for the mountains, as we will have a gustier environment going forward for the mountains. Now, that 76, 77, you're like, is that record heat? Well, not quite. 70 degrees is a forecast high for Friday, and then I had 76, 77. Looking at November 14th, 15th, and 16th, the record highs in years for that is 80 degrees. That was set back in 1879, which is pretty much the beginning of record keeping around the Charlotte area. 1933 was 82 on that Saturday, given climatology. And last time we were that warm was about 1958, 82 degrees on November 16th. So yes, these are above normal and closer to a record, but not a record surge. And even the adjustment that we see on the back end of this shouldn't be too bad. Now, a better look at it for our 10-day forecast, which, by the way, it's the long range we're going to see our next rain chance. You can see the top is going to be this Saturday and Sunday. Then another front's going to roll through, and we have the mid to the upper 60s, and we'll be hanging out in the mid 60s by the back end of this. But I'm really excited that we have beautiful sunny skies most of these days. Now, it does not help out our drought status. This will get worse. Luckily, the growing season is over, and if we do get rain, it will recover pretty quickly because we don't have really a lot of plants that are actively drinking up a lot of that water. But the next rain chance is well after 7 days. The next one I see is on November 21st. That is not this Friday, next Friday. So a dry trend is taking over, and that warmer trend taking over as well, which is no complaints, especially from what we just went to over the last couple of days. Now let's get right over to Majestic, who has some active brewing situations.
All right, good morning, everyone. We are now traffic alert as we are following a big crash here. It's going to be on I-85 southbound. This will be specifically if you're taking I-85 southbound from Kannapolis, from Concord. You're trying to get closer to Charlotte. This is what it looks like right now. 4 lanes are moving. They're just moving very, very slowly. 1 lane is currently blocked off right here, and conditions seem to be getting worse. So we are traffic alert for that. Want to show you on my map specifically what I'm talking about. So it's near 485, but it's going to be on I-85. Again, coming in from Kannapolis and Concord. I know it's very busy this time of the morning. 1 lane currently blocked. The crash happened at exit 49 there, Concord's Mills Boulevard, and that's the live camera that I just showed you. So I would suggest not taking I-85 inbound because of that. Instead, you may just want to take North Tryon Street as you are heading towards the Charlotte area. Another couple of spots that I'm watching will be on I-485 right here. Want to let you know those 2 crashes that I've been following. One of them cleared right here, but you can see all of those delays still there. And then another one, right-hand shoulder, is blocked because of a crash, I-485 southbound at Wilkinson Boulevard. Once we hop down to the south just a bit, exit 5 at Tyvola, we are seeing minimal impacts from this crash here, but really I think it's just more of that normal traffic that we're used to as people are making that inbound commute. And then this is a newer one right here where a lane is blocked at Tryon Street, both directions impacted at Nations Ford Road. We'll have another update on what I'm watching on I-85 southbound near Concord coming up here in just a few minutes.
Majestic, thanks. Starting today, Charlotte City Council is going to take another big step towards improving public transportation.
City leaders will begin interviewing candidates for a board that will help shape the future of transit across our region. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning in Uptown with what the City Council says it's looking for in candidates. Destiny.
City leaders are moving forward on the next phase of Mecklenburg County's transit plan, and that is by interviewing candidates to serve on the new Metropolitan Public Transportation Authority. Now, 27 candidates will be interviewed today through Saturday to fill 7 city-appointed seats on the new board, which will oversee future transit projects across Mecklenburg County. Council members started with more than 150 applications, then used a point system to narrow that list down. Each council member submitted their first, second, and third choices in different experience categories like law, engineering, and urban planning. We spoke with Councilman Malcolm Graham after last week's election, and he says he's looking for people who can hit the ground running and who understand the communities they'll be serving.
85% of the riders are individuals from Black and brown communities. And so I want someone who will represent the interests of the riders, someone who's able to lead on day one. All right. So I'm not looking for any individuals who just want to have their name on the letterhead.
Today's interviews will run from noon to 6 p.m. and all the interviews this week will be live streamed. We have a link to that on the WCNC Charlotte news app. And then this is just one piece of the puzzle. Obviously, there's a 27-member board altogether. Other Mecklenburg County towns have to select their appointees, county commissioners as well, the governor. So there's still a process before everything's set in stone. We know the city of Charlotte is expected to have that final, or the city council is expected to have their final appointees by November 24th. Then the entire board has to be in place by January 1st before the sales tax increase goes into effect next summer. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Uptown.
Lots has to happen between now and then. All right, Destiny, thanks. Live pictures right now over Washington, D.C., where today, after 43 days, the government could finally reopen. In a few hours, the House is set to vote on the Senate-passed bill to fund the government through January. The House Rules Committee cleared the bill and set the terms for today's debate, including right there Virginia Fox, who represents parts of the mountains. If it passes, President Trump could sign it tonight, ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history. But federal workers and airline passengers might not see immediate relief. Today's votes come as the Supreme Court is continuing its freeze on federal judges' ruling that would require the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits in November. This means for now, the government does not have to distribute $4 billion in additional SNAP funding. This block will remain in place until Thursday.
The Diaper Bank of North Carolina is also feeling the impacts of the shutdown. The families that use the diaper bank are seeing a need greater than ever before. The organization's founder says this is about working families struggling to make ends meet, especially now.
We're up on distribution over 55% from where we were this time last year, and our requests have gone up over 83% across the state.
You can head to our mobile app to get more information on how you can help the Diaper Bank of North Carolina. A Rowan County Army veteran showed up to her weekly lunch thinking that she'd be helping out. She ended up driving away with a brand new car. After the break, a look at the heartwarming surprise.
And as we go to break, WCNC Charlotte teaming up with Norishup to help our neighbors in need. If you want to send a donation, you can do so by texting Stuff the Truck to the number there on your screen. And thanks to Lowe's Home Improvement, your impact will go even further. Lowe's is matching every donation dollar for dollar up to $100,000. 7:43 right now. We are following a traffic alert just in the last few minutes. Take a look right now. This is a live look at I-85, specifically I-85 southbound near Concord Mills. One lane is blocked by a crash happening there. You can see the ripple effect that has on a morning commute for a lot of folks out there. It looks like police might be pulled over to the shoulder there as well. So if you are heading in this direction, southbound on I-85 from Concord or Kannapolis, you will have a delay. Majestic is going to have your best workarounds coming up in just a few minutes.
In the meantime, a Rowan County veteran who has spent a lifetime serving others got the surprise of her life at a weekly veterans lunch. The Army vet thought that she was there to help hand out T-shirts. Instead, she drove away with a brand new car. WCNC Charlotte anchor Jane Monreal introduces us to our latest Hyundai hometown hero.
Every Tuesday, veterans gather at Christiana Lutheran Church in Salisbury. It's more than a weekly luncheon. It's a place for those who have served, regardless of branch, to connect. For Ann Barber, the group became family after her husband passed away.
When I couldn't do anything, they did it for me. And I don't have to ask, they know. They know what kind of mood I'm in as soon as I walk through the door, if it's a good day or a bad day.
This day was going to be a good day.
All right, where's Jarhead?
Barber thought she was just helping hand out T-shirts when our news cameras arrived.
Here you go.
She had no idea her friend Linda Hensley had nominated her for something much bigger.
I had told Ann, I'm going to submit you for that. You deserve it. She says, no, don't. There's a lot of other people who deserve it more. I says, I can't think of any.
This person has been a U.S. Army veteran serving both active duty and reserve for 36 years, devoting your life to protecting and serving others, not just in the military, but also as a state police in Virginia.
The moment Barbara realized it was her.
Today, we are honored to name you WCNC's Hyundai Hometown Hero, Ann Barber.
On behalf of the Charlotte area Hyundai dealers, here's the keys to your brand new Hyundai Santa Fe.
Not surprisingly, Barbara insists she's not a hero.
I'm just somebody who decided that I needed to follow in my father's footsteps, a World War II veteran and a prisoner of war. And my husband is an angel now. If she sees a need and she can serve that need, she does it. Whew. It's not for me, it's for everyone in here. These are the heroes.
Whether it's loading firewood for someone without heat, buying scout uniforms, or driving supplies to hurricane victims in Asheville, Barbara is always the first to help.
She actually mentioned that she was going to put her car in the shop tomorrow, so this was perfect timing.
This is amazing. I really was going to put my car in the shop. So we got a new way to ride now, girl. I'm totally humbled by this. I never expected it. To get a new car, and it's not on your radar at all. I thank everyone. I hope I make everyone proud for the next time that every time they see me in the car that I'm doing something good for somebody else.
In Salisbury, Jay Monreal, WCNC Charlotte.
And it doesn't end there. Take a look at this. Ann got to drive her new car in a Veterans Day parade through downtown Faith yesterday. She told she loves the car because it started new conversations for her since the Hometown Hero decals are on it.
It gives me a chance to talk about being a veteran, being a scout leader, being a mentor with the other veterans. It just gives me a reason. It's like I'm family and this is what I do.
One of my favorite things we do here.
I'm so glad. I mean, so deserving, so humble.
I know.
Congrats to her. Enjoy it.
Every story is always great. We're back after this with a look at your weather impact forecast.
we are traffic alert this morning. I want to give you some updates on what I'm watching. This is going to be on I-85 southbound at Concord Mills. That's the exit there. Notice 4 lanes right here. They are moving. They're just moving very slowly. 1 lane right now is blocked, and we do have a couple of emergency responders there on scene. So this will be very impactful if you take I-85 southbound, whether you're coming in from Concord, whether you're coming in from Kannapolis. That is where we do have those delays currently building. You can see all the red there. That means stop and go traffic. The silver lining in this is that it's not completely blocked off, just 1 lane at exit 49. That's that live camera that I showed you, Concord Mills Boulevard. So your best alternate route if you're coming southbound and you typically take I-85, don't take I-85 right now. I suggest taking North Tryon instead. I also want to give you some updates here on 485. Those 2 crashes that we've been following, both of them have been cleared, but a couple of new things. This one here, an accident, now has the left lane blocked. This is going to be on Providence Road, southbound at Sharon Amity Road. Luckily, most of the heavy traffic is those inbound lanes, but we'll continue to give you updates on that one until it is completely cleared. Another lane is blocked because of a crash. This one on Tryon Street, impacting both directions at Nations Ford Road. To the north we go. We're looking at this ongoing crash here at Beatty's Ford Road at Mount Holly Huntersville Road. You can see that red, meaning that people are really being impacted there. And then again, this is our traffic alert that we want to let you know about. I-85 southbound, Concord Mills Boulevard. That is where the crash is, that exit there. 1 lane currently blocked. You can see where that accident is, and you can just see kind of the ripple effect of that. 4 lanes right here, they are moving. They're just moving very slowly, and this is a time of the day where a lot of people are taking I-85, so we are traffic alert because of this. This will even impact you if you're coming in from Salisbury trying to get into Charlotte. It's going to take you around 75 minutes to get into Uptown. So keep all of these things in mind. We'll have another check on our traffic alert coming up in just a few minutes. But for now, let's send things over to Chris with a check on weather. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Majestic. Yeah, no, I'm happy to say that it is warmer, but it is still downright cold. So the jacket, hoodie, and the pants are always going to be a good idea today. And even though the winds are going to shift out of a warmer direction, we are still going to have a cooler wind for those, say, around Blowing Rock. That you can see that camera to the left. So our wind chill forecast still going to be around that freezing point around 9 a.m. So it's about an hour away now. Lower to the mid-40s heading in the afternoon, and then back to the 30s. Meanwhile, once you get temperatures above 60 degrees, you don't have to worry about a wind chill. Lower to the mid-60s is where we're mainly going to be in the short term. But so far this morning, we dropped down to a low of 38 degrees. So over the next hour or so, we're going to start to see that big warm up back through the 40s. But compared to where we were, this is sensational. You actually have those temperatures that were down to 29 yesterday, 31 to kick off your Monday. This is a much better range, but still one of the coolest that we've had so far. Now, the big story that we've been talking about is what happened yesterday. And that was that space weather forecast. Whenever you have a G4, and this is just all about the auroras in general, this means that you could have power voltage control problems, satellite tracking problems, things randomly can go off, but aurora viewing is possible as far south as around Alabama, Tennessee, and North Carolina, and that's precisely what we saw yesterday. This is actually called what's called a KP 7, 8, and 9, and this just simply means that the further south that you go, well, you're going to have more visibility from this action. So other key messages with this, you're having what's actually called a CME that causes all of this, and that's abbreviated for coronal mass ejection. So that's where you have that solar flare that's going to interact and really produce a bunch of ions in the ionosphere. That's where the aurora borealis and the aurora australis down in Australia and the southern hemisphere is going to occur. So our best chance to see this, we were seeing a little bit of those pinks a little bit earlier on this morning. I think it's primarily once that sun sets, really between about 6 and 11 o'clock. Now, it's not a guarantee that we are going to see this widespread across the area. I'm just letting people know that this is going to be our last shot. So very seldom do you have back-to-back nights where last night could could have been the sneaky surprise, but we will be close to about that G4 that I was explaining, but it'll be during the middle of the afternoon. So that's kind of why I want to stay tuned for updates. Don't be disappointed if you don't see it, but you might be able to check it out. Now, the problem is you probably won't see it with the naked eye. That's why it's really important to do a lot of those camera tricks like long exposure, and I'll actually show you all of those coming up over the next half hour. In the meantime, we're going to head back over to Ben and Lisa.
All right, Chris, thanks so much for that. Well, make sure that you tune in next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on WCNC Plus. Our chief meteorologist, Brad Panovich, is going to have his annual winter weather outlook. I know a lot of people look forward to seeing this. Again, it's going to be next Tuesday, 6:30 right here on WCNC Plus to find out what kind of winter weather we should expect. I know we saw that snow earlier this week. What's in store for the winter? You'll find out next Tuesday. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
The sun is out and it's warming up. All right, temperatures in the mid 60s. That's where we should be this time of year. Not the upper 40s nor the lower 50s where we have been. Now, Boone, you'll be at 52, but you expect that. No snow chances whatsoever, so that's some good news. Enjoy the sunshine today. And then overnight tonight, it'll be a typical low right around 40 degrees, dropping down to the upper 30s back-to-back mornings. But hey, at least it's not freezing. And then we see those lows on the rise. Now, heading into the weekend, we actually have a passing warm front. That's going to warm us up big time. Next chance for rain is only for the mountains because we have no chance for rain in the short term for around the Charlotte area. Meanwhile, Jerry Hunt Super Center 7-day forecast showing that we're staying dry over the next 7, mid to the upper 70s this weekend. Majestic, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. We are following a traffic alert. This is on I-85 southbound, exit 49. This is Concord Mills. So if you're coming in from Kannapolis, Concord, even Salisbury, you will have some delays this morning if you plan on taking I-85. Right now, we know one lane is currently blocked because of a crash at exit 49. So instead of taking 85, you might just want to take North Tryon Street instead. Again, those will be the southbound lanes highly impacted. More on WCNC Plus coming up.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this hour with the check on your forecast. Chris says still chilly this morning, but things are going up. Look at those beautiful Carolina blues.
And that's what we live for, right? The power of sunshine always makes you feel at least 10 degrees warmer. But highs in the mid 60s, that is normal. But if you put it in perspective, that's going to feel almost hot compared to where we have been the last couple of days. Yesterday, we didn't even reach 50 degrees for our highs. The day before, barely reached the lower 50s. So we've been actually more January-like over the last 2 days for both our highs and our lows compared to where we should be for the first half of November. But it's going to be a picture-perfect day, warming up to the mid-60s with sunshine, as you can clearly see with those clear skies in the background. By the weekend, though, we're talking about the mid-70s and no rain for the next week. And I'm not just talking about the work week. I'm talking about well into next week. The next rain chance that I see, at least for Charlotte, isn't until next Friday. Now, of course, they can change. Something can sneak back in. But for the near term, things are looking mighty fine, my friends. Now, the next technical rain chance for the Carolinas will be in the mountains later on this weekend. Our flannel weather, though, yeah, I think that we're definitely going to check the box. Now that we're heading into the 8 o'clock hour, we're now having the newest updated temperature as we officially have hit our low for the morning. That was around 38 degrees in Charlotte. 41 right now is the current temperature around Concord. Still around freezing here in Hickory, and we are seeing some freezing temperatures up in the high country. And then soon, all of us will be back in the 40s before you know it. So the rest of this morning, heading into the afternoon, we'll be back in the lower 60s, right around the back end of the lunchtime hours. And then you have the mid 60s, around 65, 66 for the absolute peak across the area. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a picture-perfect blue sky for us all to enjoy, about 65 to 66 across the greater Charlotte area, lower to the mid-50s for the mountains and then parts of the foothills as you're heading down into the Piedmont. And then later on this evening, say if you're going to be up around 9 to 11, that's where temperatures reach either side of 50 degrees, which, by the way, that's pretty much where our highs have been the last couple of days. So not too bad. Every single shot that we have across our Mr. Sparky Carolina camera network is A-OK. Going forward, after the 66, we will expect temperatures to fall down to the upper 30s, upper 60s tomorrow, and then right around 70 degrees for your Friday. Now, our low temperatures going forward on the rise big time because we have a warm front that's going to lift through. Also, an abundance of more clouds will be on and off throughout the weekend. So that's going to start us off in the mid 40s on Saturday and then 57 on Sunday. So something to look forward to. And the reason why we're going to see this big warm up is because of this passing warm front, bringing that slight chance for rain, and then another cold front and followed by another dying out one is going to be upon us. But we don't see any big Arctic blast. The whole reason why we cooled down so much recently, there's actually technically a piece of what's called the polar vortex. We were mentioning this last week. It's kind of an over-type term. It's a term. It's always going to be up there, but literally it can wobble and pieces of that colder Arctic air can sometimes descend really deep down to the south. And when it happens during the wintertime, it can reach as far south as Florida. And then at that point, the iguanas start falling from the trees, as you've probably seen every few years. Our precipitation chances, though, null and void, flatlining over the next several days. For the next 7, I wouldn't worry about it here in Charlotte. Now, as I mentioned, things can certainly change. Maybe that front could drag in a little extra moisture. I think at most you might have a sprinkle chance for your Sunday. But going forward, it's really not until, not this Friday, but next Friday, that we're going to have our next developing rain chance. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, there's not a lot to mention. There was a lot of time spent last week as we were saying, hey, next Monday and Tuesday, weather impact days. We have no weather impact days. We just have days that you're going to be upset that you don't get outside and take advantage of. The record highs for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are around 80 to 82. So these aren't record-breaking days, but we're still closer to the record high of around 80 to 82 this coming weekend compared to the normal of 64. So take advantage of those days while we have it. Again, the chances of those 70s are fleeting. We've done it during December, January, and February. It just becomes less and less of a likelihood that we see those as our normal highs continue to descend. Eventually, we'll be averaging the 50s a few weeks from now. So enjoy the 60s and 70s. A nice change, Majestic, from where we just were. What's changing in the traffic world?
Really, this is still the big story this morning. It's I-85. This is those southbound lanes at Concord Mills Boulevard exit. You can see those 4 lanes are moving. However, they are moving very slowly because of the crash. You can see the crash right here. So one lane is currently blocked off here. We've been following this for you for a while, and we are traffic alert because of this. This is typical time where we do see a lot of traffic on I-85, those inbound lanes. So not good now that we have one lane that's currently blocked off. You can see how far back this is going to extend. So this will really impact you if you're coming in from Kannapolis, Concord. You typically take I-85, or even if you come in from Salisbury this morning. So let's zoom it in. Still seeing a lot of red right there because that one lane that's blocked on I-85. Again, exit 49. That's Concord Mills Boulevard. Then we've been talking about your best way to get around this because you don't want to be sitting in all that traffic. Really, it's going to be avoid I-85 southbound. Instead, from the Concord area, you're going to want to take Tryon. However, we now have an accident right there because a lot of people are trying to take that best alternate route. The crash right here is going to be on I-85 southbound at Tryon Street, really near 485. So those delays are also becoming more backed up. Again, there's that live camera look. We've been on this for you this morning. We are traffic alert because of that. And you can see it's really even impacting areas all the way up towards Salisbury to Charlotte. It's going to take you about 80 minutes to get to Charlotte. Plan accordingly.
All right, Majestic, thanks. Well, this morning we are learning more about NBC News reports that Border Patrol will start an immigration enforcement operation here in Charlotte. That's according to the Department of Homeland Security. It's not clear why Charlotte or when the operation is going to happen, but we know about 200 Border Patrol agents and their commander, who you see right here in the middle of your screen, have been stationed in Chicago over the last few weeks, are expected to leave this week. Last night, the Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office issued this statement saying it's not been contacted by Border Control yet. Sheriff McFadden says he's requesting Border Patrol to notify his office before any local operation to help ensure the safety of everybody involved. Now, we should say this will be the first city where Border Patrol will lead an operation without coordinating with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, despite ICE already making arrests here in Charlotte. When we first broke the story right here on WCNC Plus, we had the chance to speak to a former federal agent, M. Quentin Williams, who gave us his perspective.
When federal law enforcement comes into town, they are supposed to alert and work with local law enforcement. It makes for a better collaboration with the city. It makes for a safer engagement. And from what I understand, that has not happened.
M. Quentin Williams there. 8:07 now. This morning, neighbors are speaking out about what they say are potential problems with that I-77 South toll project. We told you about this yesterday. Now, this comes after the State Department of Transportation stressed that a final decision has not been made on the design of those toll lanes. Now, take a look at what we're talking about. It's an 11-mile stretch of I-77 South, again, from uptown all the way down to the South Carolina border. WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley explains what this project means for you.
Residents are frustrated by what they call lack of transparency and worry the project on this interstate will force homeowners to move.
You're going to have a highway with noise. You're going to have all kinds of collisions. It's just going to take away the peace that we have here.
Kenneth Henderson has lived in McCrory Heights for the past 4 years. He fears toll lanes from uptown to South Carolina will hurt his community.
I don't think it should come through residential. Even if it is widening it, it's still people live here.
NCDOT says the 11-mile stretch of I-77 hasn't been widened since the 1990s.
Doing nothing is not an option on this corridor. Without these improvements, congestion and safety conditions will continue to worsen as our region grows to more than 4 million residents by 2050.
Other plans call for building direct connectors to some interchanges and rebuilding bridges and interchanges.
We just need to make sure that we answer those questions appropriately, and the appropriate response is no impact on Black and brown communities, because we've already been here before.
Charlotte Council member Malcolm Graham says though I-77 needs improvements, there's still a lot of unanswered questions.
Just by looking at the preliminary designs, they're worrisome to me, and they're worrisome to a lot of residents in the community in terms of the significance of impact on cemeteries, on neighborhoods, on a park.
And there are 2 public meetings scheduled for this week from 4 to 7 o'clock. Wednesday's meeting will be held at Johnson C. Smith University, and Thursday's meeting will be held at Silver Mount Baptist Church. In Charlotte, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
And coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be hearing from Shauna Bell from the McCrory Heights Neighborhood Association, one of many concerned neighbors in opposition to this project that's coming up at 8:30 right here on WCNC Plus. Well, the government shutdown is closer than ever to being over. So when will airports return to normal?
Ahead, we'll hear how Charlotte Douglas Airport is doing amid the shutdown and what travelers should know ahead of the holidays. But first, as we go to break, here's an exclusive deal for our viewers.
Hey, we're testing holiday gifts so you don't have to, and we're going to save you time and money. 3 different gifts here today, and we have deals on all of them. Let's get right to it. With this holiday strobe projector, it's remote control. To get the little remote control here, 2 lights in one. This works outside and inside. You love it on your garage, on the side of your house, but check it out like for your kids' room. Here, shut off the lights for a minute. Kill the lights. How cool is that on the side of your kids' room? Now let's go outside. 2 lights in one. This is really cool. 10 colorful water wave effects, 16 holiday themed slides. It's weather resistant. That's huge. It can project up to 2,300 square feet. This second product going to save you tons of headaches at the end of the season when you're packing up your artificial tree. It's a durable Christmas tree bag. This one is waterproof. That's huge. And also tear-proof as well. It zips right up. This is a 5-foot tree, but look how much extra room there is in there. It also comes in medium and large, because I know a lot of you have bigger trees than that. Also great handles. This is awesome. I also love these gift sacks, holiday gift sacks, and they come in different styles. And they're also here. They have this one, you have the red one, and this is the one I wanted to show you as well. They're customizable with the names you can put in as well. Plus great for oversized packages and toys as well. 3 amazing holiday gifts with huge discounts just for you. Happy holidays. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
Time is now 8:14. We are just weeks away from the busy holiday travel season, and we continue to follow those flight disruptions across the country, including right here in Charlotte.
Right now, Charlotte Douglas has delays of about 4 and 36 cancellations as flights continue to get cut amid the ongoing government shutdown. Amanda DeWeese is the communications director over at Charlotte Douglas International. She joins us this morning. Good to see you again, Amanda. Thanks for talking to us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, bring us up to speed. It looks like maybe, fingers crossed, the shutdown could end as early as today. If that happens, How quickly do you think flights will return to normal there at Charlotte Douglas?
That's right. So first of all, yes, we are being impacted by the FAA order to reduce air traffic. Right now, we're at a 6% reduction in flight schedules. That'll be going to a 10% reduction in flight schedules as soon as Friday. Now, if the end is in sight, which we certainly are hopeful it is, passengers can expect to have those disruptions, though, for a few days to follow. The airlines have to kind of get back up to speed. Our TSA workers, our air traffic control workers have been amazing. They are so committed to working without pay during this time, and we have been very fortunate throughout the shutdown thus far.
We're talking about 4%, 6%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're that one passenger and your flight is delayed, it's problematic. What are you telling passengers?
Absolutely. So our message is simple: plan ahead and arrive early. So you need to connect with your airline before you actually get to the airport. They are communicating directly with passengers to let them know what the flight statuses are and the flight schedule, so you can know if you're impacted before you go. Be inside the terminal 2 hours before a domestic flight and 3 hours before an international flight. Before you get in the TSA checkpoint line, please know what you can and cannot bring. That can certainly hold up the wait line as people are being pulled aside. And we ask for patience and understanding. It's unprecedented right now. You can follow CLT social media for real-time updates on any major impacts.
Yeah, a little bit more now on the TSA and security lines. We've seen 3-hour waits in some cities like Houston. Is that been the case here, or have we fared a little bit better?
We have been incredibly fortunate. We have 3 security checkpoints at CLT, and throughout this shutdown, we have been averaging 10 minutes or less wait times, which is completely normal. Our TSA workers have done a phenomenal job continuing to show up, their commitment. It's really helped us mitigate any impacts at those checkpoints. You'll also see airport employees. They're going to be wearing kind of bright neon color vests. We're helping to support our TSA workers with just directing passengers, and that helps the lines move more efficiently.
They are very good about directing folks for sure. All right, so Thanksgiving is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Do you have any idea how this year's numbers are going to compare with last year?
We do. So we are expecting about 2 million passengers to arrive and depart out of CLT over a 13-day Thanksgiving period. So that is November 20th through December 2nd. That is a 6% decrease over last year's record-breaking passenger traffic. But keep in mind that 70% of the passengers at CLT are going to be connecting. So as other airports experience those delays, there can be ripple effects.
Yeah, always good to keep in mind. 70%, that's a big bulk.
It's a huge number, yeah.
Which days, when it comes to Thanksgiving holiday, which days are you expecting to be the busiest?
Yes, so it's the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday following Thanksgiving, with that Sunday, November 30th, the most busiest that we are expecting at this point. About 180,000 passengers are expected to be in the terminal on November 30th.
So a testament to our area and to Charlotte Douglas. We know that airport has been a construction zone for years because of that terminal lobby expansion. But if folks haven't been to the airport in a while, things are much, much better now.
Yes. So this is our first major holiday post-construction, so that is worth celebrating in itself. There's a lot more lobby space. If you have not been to the airport for a long time, you'll be certainly surprised. It's very roomy, very airy. We have pedestrian sky bridges, underground walkways, 16-lane curb front. All of this has been designed to enhance that passenger flow and improve passenger safety. We have some concessions that are in the terminal lobby now, so you can go to Dunkin' Donuts or go grab something to read from the Charlotte News store before you actually get in the TSA line.
I mean, a lot of people never go to the airport, but if they do, they go once a year or once every 2 years. And if that's you, you're going to be welcomed by a brand new airport.
When you see that lobby, Terminal A,
it's going to be completely new. And again, Amanda, driving home the point, if the government shutdown ends today, expect several days before everything gets completely back to normal.
Right.
Amanda Deweese, live from Charlotte Douglas. Amanda, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Let's go ahead and pause for just a second. We're back here with a check of your weather impact forecast.
around the 10 o'clock hour especially. I actually had friends from Massachusetts that were sending this a little bit closer to midnight, that it was active as far north there. And I even saw some reports that some could see it in Mexico. This is substantial, but oftentimes you couldn't see it with the naked eye. So here are some of the best tips if you want to go to the pro mode or the night mode on your camera. Now, physically, if you go to your iPhone, there's this little moon and kind of little hashtag circle. All you have to do is try to move up the shutter speed. Let's go through all of these though. You have the ISO. The general range is about 800 to 3200. This is going to boost sensitivity. So start around 800 and increase it until the aurora is visible. But I think the most important one is the shutter speed. You want to make that about 5 to 15 seconds. So the shorter one is if the aurora is active, which is going to be a good possibility as far south of the Carolinas, even down into Georgia. And if it's faint, it's about 10 to 15 seconds. So what this does is literally the shutter speed, you have to hold it still for that amount of time frame. So if you are going to do this, you have to hold it steady, and also it's suggested to do a manual focus. So literally you're just going to tap on a distant star and then you can lock that manual focus. And then the white balance, if you really want to go super specific, is a range of about 3,500 to 4,000 K. So what this is going to do is it keeps that natural green purple tones instead of turning the sky orange. So it's going to capture in the pinks and the purples and the greens if you potentially could get that. And a lot of our cameras that we've been seeing across our Mr. Sparky Carolina camera network, we're capturing a lot of this. So it was a really cool sight that we saw yesterday. So the timing for today, it generally is going to be early Wednesday. That window is already closed. This is the graphic I was using from earlier this morning, but now it's going to be after sunset. Since the sun is going to set right before 5:30, it's really going to be close to about 6:30 that is truly getting dark. So I would say anywhere between about 6 to 11 o'clock is where we're going to have our last chance to see the aurora as far south here in the Carolinas. By the way, this is quite rare, especially this is the second opportunity that we have officially seen it here in the Charlotte area. Technically there was 3, but only 2 really have come to fruition. And as I mentioned, that long exposure pics going to the night mode and everything that I just mentioned on your smartphone is your best availability to possibly take a picture. We've seen a lot of really cool ones with those bright, vibrant pinks. Some of us even catching a little bit of that green. So happy picture taking. Hopefully you're able to see it a little bit later on. We have an increasing chance. I don't think it's as great as what we had yesterday, but still not too bad. So again, 6 to 11. Take your shot. Hopefully you see it. Let's get right over to Majestic, who has had traffic alert, it seems.
We are under a traffic alert this morning because we're still following the crash on I-85 impacting southbound lanes. The crash is specifically at exit 49, that's Concord Mills Boulevard. All 4 lanes, they are moving. They're just moving very, very slowly, but we have seen one of the lanes actually become blocked because of that ongoing crash. At this point, I think I see a sign that has an arrow saying to merge onto these area roadways. Again, this camera is live. It's just stuck right now. Those cars are just moving very slowly as you're heading out the door. Putting things into perspective, I-85, if you're coming in from Kannapolis or Concord and you're heading toward Charlotte, that's where those delays currently are. Again, 1 lane blocked because of it. Your best alternate route is really to not take I-85. Instead, Tryon would be your best bet. However, we're now reporting on a crash right there on Tryon Street, very close to 485. So it is quite messy out there. We'll have another update for you coming up here soon. Good morning, everyone. We do have a traffic alert to let you know about. This will be on I-85. If you typically take I-85 southbound, say from Kannapolis or Concord, you will have some serious delays. We're following an accident that now has one lane completely blocked off. All 4 other lanes right there, they are moving, but they're moving very slowly. We have a lot of red on I-85 southbound, specifically where that crash is, backed up and delaying you at least 10 to 15 minutes for you this morning. So your best alternate route to try to get around it, don't take I-85 southbound because it is jam-packed right now. You could take Tryon Street. That'll help you to get right around it. However, a new crash just reported right on Tryon, right near 485. So it is very messy for you this morning. Again, this is our traffic alert, I-85 southbound at Concord Mills. Chris.
Thanks a lot, Majestic. Check it out. Current temperatures 41, feeling like 35 around Charlotte. Lancaster 43, feeling like 38, and we have a calm breeze the higher you go up. But our 7-day forecast brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Supercenter. Not much to mention. We get warmer each and every day. That cold air that felt more like January, it's in the past. Mid to the upper 70s this weekend. Something to look forward to. Take care. We're live streaming right now on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. We begin the half hour with a traffic alert you need to know about. Majestic joins us right now. And Majestic, a messy morning on the road.
It is, specifically I-85 southbound lanes being impacted by this. And we've been traffic alert now for the last hour because it seems to just be getting actually worse. Want to break down what I'm watching. Again, I-85 southbound at exit 49. That's Concord Mills Boulevard. Notice all 4 lanes, they are moving. They're just moving very slowly, but you can see one of the lanes are actually blocked off because of a crash this morning, so you're having to merge onto those lanes. Again, this is just a delay for a lot of people as they are heading inbound. Want to show you on my map what I'm talking about here. All of that red, that's what we've been watching for you. And as we zoom it in, again, one lane currently blocked because of a crash there at exit 49. So what is your best way to get around it? Here's the thing. I would suggest not taking I-85 I-85 southbound because of how jam-packed it is. But instead, you may want to consider taking Tryon if you're coming in from Salisbury, Concord, Kannapolis. However, we do now have a crash right there. I think more people are trying to take that quicker route, and there is a crash. I'm seeing just minimal impacts with it, so I do think that would still be your better option compared to I-85. Again, this is really close to 485 as well, so just be mindful of that as you're heading out the door this morning. This is why we are traffic alert again for you. I-85 southbound at Concord Mills. Now we're seeing those impacts. We're really focusing on the impacts this morning all the way out towards Salisbury, where it's going to take you over 70 minutes to get into Charlotte. So again, I suggest taking Tryon instead, although it's not perfect. If you're coming in on I-77 from South Carolina, good morning. This is Gold Hill, where conditions seem to be flowing all right. But you can see my map here. I mean, we have our fair share of ongoing wrecks. I think really significantly I-85 is the most important thing. But this one is rather new. A crash here on W.T. Harris Boulevard at Paces Oaks Boulevard. Seeing some stop and go traffic there. We'll give you another update on everything I'm watching, including that traffic alert up there on I-85 out towards Concord coming up in just a few. But for now, we're going to send things over to Chris. He is bringing back the warmer weather and sunshine.
No, yeah, thanks for filling in for me when it was super cold. And I'm glad that things are heading the right direction. Majestic and I are both really excited that we get to give you a forecast of the 70s returning. This weekend should be absolutely exemplary. And there's the last weekends for Renfest and a bunch of things going on this weekend. So it's perfect weather. And rain taking a big old break. I'm talking about over 7 days without rain. Now we are at the point that we desperately need the rain. But the good news is it's this time of year through December and January. We don't have a lot of active flora or plants that are sucking up that water. So if you do get a decent amount of rain, we can overcome that drought pretty quickly. But in the near term, not really going to be heading the right direction. But beautiful skies right now across Lylesville and our Mr. Sparky Carolina Camera Network. Everything is looking picture perfect and A-OK. Now, for the rest of this morning, I don't really have anything to mention except that our temperatures are going to be zooming up as they do each and every morning. We're already back to 40 degrees around Monroe. We have 41 in Charlotte and Boone. You're gorgeous and likely in the mid 30s now. Just don't have your local airport that's currently reporting that temperature. Meanwhile, I do this each and every day. Time to crank up the music. And also, our director behind this is his dog with Chelsea. Webster, good to have you, my friend. So Webster, I've heard great things about you. And I hear you love Winnie the Pooh. You have a stuffed toy of that, I believe. Neckerchief game is strong right now. And one of my favorite facts that I got from Cody and Chelsea is that Webster also takes what's called a cheese tax. And I didn't realize that my dog Romeo does the same thing. So Webster, great to have you as my dog of the day. Temperatures zooming into the lower to the mid 60s for the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, a slight wind chill throughout the day, but it should be great for walking the dog. And some of the dogs that even grew in their winter coat, still going to be a good one. So Chelsea and Cody, thank you so much for sending this along. By the way, I do this each and every morning on WCNC Charlotte. That's right around 6:25. So if you want to join the fun, just scan this QR code. Here, I'll keep this up for a little bit longer. 3, 2, 1. I think the music's about to end here. There it is. Okay, good times. Cody, thank you so much for sending the dog in, but then also thank you for doing the music each and every day for me. Well, as we know, it snowed recently, and we have some active snow still here on the ground. At Sugar Mountain, they're on the base, so they are actively making snow whenever the conditions are right. And sadly, we are going to start to warm back up, so it's not really going to be a great situation for trying to create more snow, but you see some people like this snowboarder right here, ready to go for the day. But yeah, you do have active snow up on the slopes. 'Tis the season. Today's going to be a pretty windy one the higher you go up. Talking about some wind gusts on and up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Here a little bit close to Charlotte, I think you could have some gusts as high as 20 miles per hour, but it's out of a warmer direction. So for the mountains, we're back into the lower to the mid 60s on Friday and Saturday. That is an amazing temperature range for this time of the year. And our next real rain chance, even though you do have a couple of spotty guys on Thursday and Saturday, I think it's going to be mainly on Sunday. Some rain is developing right along the Tennessee border. As far as our lows go, and this is back to the Charlotte area, we fell to below freezing back-to-back mornings. It was 31 and 29 for our lows. Well, we're back to the upper 30s, which, by the way, our normal low for this day in climatology is 40 degrees. We're pretty much around there, but we're going to see a surge as far as our lows are concerned, and also a big surge for our highs as well. Meanwhile, the rain's taking a big old break. I mentioned it's not great for the drought status, but hey, it's still going to be beautiful sunny days most of the next 7. Our next rain chance, I don't have it until next Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday, about 10 days out. So yeah, enjoy the drier weather while we have it. If you have any painting to do outside, I always say when you have these nice dry stretches, this is the time to do it. Tomorrow's forecast, temperatures back into the mid 60s. Some of us, I think, might even challenge the upper 60s all in all. And we're filtering in more clouds, so it doesn't have that wall-to-wall sunshine scenario like what we have today, but still amazing. Our surface map showing a big change heading into the weekend. Check it out. We have a warm front that's blasting almost like conveyor belts, a blowtorch effect of that warmer air. That's why we're warming up so much in the mid to even the upper 70s. Now, for us to break a record, we need to hit 82 degrees either on Saturday or Sunday. That's the record for both days for the 15th and the 16th. But here's the one rain chance. I think it's mainly going to be around the Appalachian Trail. That's starting on Saturday night to Sunday, and then it could continue on and off through your Sunday afternoon. Cooler air then starts to sink in behind this. Another front starts to move back in, and then temperatures will still be hovering around the 60s, which still isn't too bad. So our weekend forecast, this is amazing, especially since it's November. This is not typical. This is above 10 average degrees, or 10 degrees above average, what I was trying to get out. 76 to 77, mixing in a few clouds, but other than that, no worries. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, all is well. Mid to the upper 60s to around 70 degrees over the next 3 days. Mid to the upper 70s I showed you Saturday, Sunday. Mid 60s, feeling great. Monday and Tuesday, doesn't get much better than this for 7 days in November here around Charlotte.
All right, starting today, Charlotte City Council taking another big step towards improving public transportation.
City leaders will begin interviewing candidates for a board that will help shape the future of transit across the region. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning with what City Council says it's looking for in the candidates. Destiny.
Yeah, city leaders are moving forward with the county's transit plan, and that's by interviewing candidates for the new Metropolitan Public Transportation Authority. Now, 27 candidates will be interviewed today through Saturday to fill 7 city-appointed seats on the new board, which will oversee future transit projects across Mecklenburg County. Council members started with more than 150 applications, then used a point system to narrow that list down. Each council member submitted their first, second, and third choices in different experience categories like law, engineering, and urban planning. We spoke with Councilman Malcolm Graham after last week's election, and he says he's looking for people who can hit the ground running and who understand the communities they'll be serving.
85% of the riders are individuals from Black and brown communities. And so I want someone who will represent the interests of the riders, someone who's able to lead on day one. All right, so I'm not looking for any individuals who just want to have their name on the letterhead.
Today's interviews will run from noon to 6 p.m. and all of the interviews this week will be live streamed. We have a links where you can watch that on the WCNC News app. And then they'll vote on the final appointees. Again, 7 city-appointed appointees will be voted on November 24th. I'll send back to you guys live here from Uptown.
Destiny, thanks. Let's go to live pictures right now over Washington, D.C., where today, after 43 days, the government could finally reopen. In a few hours, the House set to vote on the Senate-passed bill to fund the government through January. The House Rules Committee cleared the bill and set the terms for today's debate, including Virginia Fox there, you see, representing people up in the mountains. If it passes, President Trump could sign it tonight, ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Federal workers and airline passengers might not see immediate relief. The Supreme Court continuing its freeze on a federal judge's ruling that would require the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits in November. It means that for now, the government does not have to distribute $4 billion in additional SNAP funding. This block will remain in place until Thursday.
The Diaper Bank of North Carolina is also feeling the impacts of the shutdown. With neither SNAP nor WIC covering diapers, the families that use the bank are seeing a need greater than ever before. The organization's founder says this is about working families struggling to make ends meet, especially now.
We're up on distribution over 55% from where we were this time last year, and our requests have gone up over 83% across the state.
You can head to the WCNC mobile app for more information on how you can help the Diaper Bank of North Carolina.
WCNC Charlotte teaming up with Nourish Up to help our neighbors in need. If you want to send a donation, do so by texting Stuff the Truck to the number there on your screen. By the way, thanks to Lowe's Home Improvement, your impact is going to be even greater. It's matching every donation dollar for dollar up to $100,000.
More road work coming to I-77 in Charlotte, and some neighbors not happy about it.
Up next, we'll share plans of the latest improvement project and why some folks in some neighborhoods are not happy about it.
This section of I-77 has not been widened since the 1990s. And as you know, the growth of Charlotte has just continued. And so we cannot do nothing. Safety is our first priority. So doing nothing is not an option for the department. And the crash rates on this stretch of I-77 are 2.5 times the statewide average. So that is, again, very something we don't want to see continue. And we want to ease the congestion, we want to help alleviate it, and we want those crash rates to come down.
Now, that is just one side of a back and forth debate over expanding I-77 between Uptown and the South Carolina state line. The project will have major impacts on commuters and homeowners who live near the interstate.
So today will be the first of 2 public meetings about the project. Folks from McCrory Heights plan to be there to speak out against the plans. Joining us this morning, Shauna Bell. She's the vice president of the McCrory Heights Neighborhood Association. Shauna, thanks for taking time. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. As you know, this is not a new topic for your neighborhood. In fact, over the decades, the neighborhood's been chopped up several times, first by the Brookshire Freeway, then by I-77. And there are older folks there in the neighborhood. They and their families have seen this happen time and time again.
Absolutely. We still have people who live in this neighborhood, who were first residents of this neighborhood, who were impacted with the Brookshire Freeway, like you said, and 77 expansion. And now, once again, this would be like a third generation of the state coming in and wanting to take pieces of the neighborhood in the name of progress for Charlotte.
There are a lot of people, a lot of varying opinions on this. This is a historic district, and your neighbors are very, very proud of that. They say it's worth protecting.
Yes, I actually am the chair for the Historic District Commission, so I represent McCrory Heights on that commission, and we work tirelessly in order to get that designation in order to save the history. This neighborhood has a lot of history of people who fought for civil rights on a local level and a national level, and we just wanted to protect that at all costs.
All right, Sean, I want to walk through folks through some of the options and some of the renderings. And heads up, the renderings are a lot, but I'm going to try to explain them as we talk about it. So let's take this first one. And what you're going to see, this is the I-77 Brookshire interchange, northwest part of Uptown. McCrory Heights is in that upper right-hand corner. So in this drawing, in this version, the footprint of the interstate and interchange gets a lot larger. It appears a few homes there on Angel Terrace and Madison Avenue, again, there up in the upper right, would be taken out. Okay, now I want to go to a second option that's a little bit different. In it, looks like the current footprint doesn't change as much and looks like homes might not be touched. That's because the toll lanes would be elevated in that scenario. And we've shown you this before, but this is what that would look like in actual 3D, an elevated tollway above the interstate itself. Is that second option, in your view, any more palatable because it might not infringe on the neighborhood as much?
To answer that question specifically, if I had to choose between the two options, if I was forced to, yes. I think that this neighborhood has a history of NCDOT not being transparent with what they are going to do and what they are going to do in order to maintain the quality of life that we have. And so to the point of the first map, like you said, it takes out houses on Angel Terrace. It actually takes out my home, is what it looks like. And so we have not understood what the potential is of one option over the other. And so without that understanding, without just real answers to questions that we asked specifically of NCDOT representatives when they were at our neighborhood meeting in October, right now we have no choice, especially with the history like you talked about before, with things being promised and not being delivered on, but to push back to try to understand why this neighborhood continues to have to be the one to bear the brunt of the progress for Charlotte.
And I really think that that's one of the sore points there, why there's going to be a lot of discussion, 2 meetings. In fact, we know how bad the traffic is. We know how much the city is growing, with 157 people a day moving to the Queen City. And DOT is saying that something has to be done. Do you think there's a fair resolution? Like, how do we find, I don't know, a happy medium?
I would hope that there is. I think that we have also looked at research from other cities around the country that show that widening of highways doesn't have the intended effect that DOT is saying that it does. You can look at studies that were done in Oregon and Houston. I mean, you can even look at Atlanta. That's about 7 or 8 lanes of traffic around that 75-85 combination, and there's always traffic. So we hope that there is a resolution that is beneficial to Charlotte and also to this neighborhood. We just want to be a part of that conversation, and up to this point we haven't been. So we will be at the meeting tonight to ask those questions, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers that can help us move forward.
I think it's called induced demand maybe, and it's the idea that if you add 10 lanes, it's going to be great for a few years, but
and then
more people are going to drive it. You end up back at square one, which is why also unrelated transit, trains, all that other stuff is something that the city talks about on a regular basis. Finally, from the last time I-77 widened about 10 years ago, there is just an empty field there off of Angel Terrace between the neighborhood and the interstate barrier wall. So if something happens, assuming, as DOT says, they got to do something.
Right.
Are there ways to make projects like this more palatable for neighborhoods, whether it's trails, parks, sound barriers that are aesthetically pleasing, that make something like this a little bit easier to bear?
Yes, I think that there are absolutely ways and things that can be done in order to diminish the impact on the people who are living here. I mean, you think about the construction that's going to be happening and when that's going to be happening, and we live right here next to the neighborhood. So during that time and then afterwards, I think that there are ways that can work. We just, again, like I said, want to be a part of that conversation and want things that DOT says that they're going to do that they actually follow through on, if that's what it comes down to.
Well, they say that this is the early stage.
Yes.
And these are just drawings and renderings and
No
plans.
final decision.
And so hopefully neighbors there in McCrory Heights and Wesley Heights and all the other neighborhoods up and down I-77 will get a chance to actually have their voices heard. Shauna Bell, live for us this morning with McCrory Heights Homeowners Association. Shauna, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And just a reminder, those two public meetings starting today, the first one happening at the Innovation Center on Johnson C. Smith University. That's at the campus there today from 4 until 7. And then if you can't make that meeting, there's another one happening tomorrow at Silver Mount Baptist Church from 4 to 7 as well.
We are going to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC+.
Everywhere you look, it is a beautiful day. Look at those sunny skies across 4 different spots. We're talking about over in Lake Norman, over in Monroe, Dallas, Charlotte. Everyone has that wall-to-wall blue sky, and expect that for the course of today. Now let's get to our 10-10-10 forecast over the next 10 days. High temperatures on the rise. Yesterday, it's really unbelievable that we only had a high of 48 degrees. Now we're back to the mid-60s, and then we have the mid to the upper 60s tomorrow, around 70 degrees on Friday, and then mid to the upper 70s on Saturday and Sunday. Believe it or not, that is not a record breaker, but hey, closer to a record than where we should be. Back to the mid to the upper 60s through much of next week, where our lows are going to be close to where we should be, around 40 degrees to the upper 30s of the next couple. Then we have some milder mornings to come. As far as our rain chances go, don't worry about it. Null and void over the next 7 days. At least there's a slight chance for a little bit of rain for the mountains right along the Tennessee border. That's on Sunday, but the Charlotte area likely staying dry over the next 7+ days. Next rain chances isn't until November 21st. That's not this Friday, but the following Friday. Let's go over to Majestic. It's been an up and down morning for you. What's the newest status?
Good morning, everyone. Well, take a look at my live traffic map. We have a handful of icons popping up, which means it is busy. 8:55 right now. We have dropped our traffic alert because the crash is cleared and the traffic is getting a little bit better. You can still see that red, though. I-85 southbound out towards Concord. So just a few minutes ago, lanes were hardly moving. At this point, you can still see we have a lot of traffic, but at least it is moving at this point. There's that delay. Again, if you just want to avoid that area, you can always just take Tryon southbound. That'll help to at least give you a few more extra minutes so you're not stuck in all that traffic. This crash here, though, watch for it watch for it if you do take that alternate route. It's going to be right there on Tryon Street.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. We are going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Coming up at the top of the hour, our own Julie Kay is taking over from our live Impact News studio. Make sure you keep it right here on WCNC Plus. She's going to have an expert talking about infectious diseases and ways to stay healthy while on the go this holiday season.
Oh, what a beautiful day. Temperatures in the mid 60s, a lot warmer than what we have been over the last couple of days. It's been either in the upper 40s or the lower 50s. Well, enjoy today and enjoy the afternoon. Lower to the mid 60s, pretty much where we should be this time of year. For our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, you can see temps on the rise, back around 70 degrees for Friday, mid 70s for your Saturday and Sunday, and then readjusting back to the mid 60s through most of next week, staying dry over the next 7. Let's see how our morning commute is faring with Majestic Storm.
Good morning, everyone. It is a busy start to our Wednesday morning. Lots of icons popping up right here, so we definitely have a lot going on for that morning commute. Still watching that slowdown on I-85 southbound. If you're coming in from Concord or Kannapolis, you will have a little bit more slow-moving traffic. This is a live camera look. You can see cars are moving, but they're moving rather slowly. This will even impact your morning commute if you're coming in from areas like Salisbury, so allow for some extra drive time. Your best alternate route will be taking Tryon inbound. Then we're following a crash on Woodlawn Road at I-77. Delays are building. And another one here, Tryon Street, both ways at Nations Ford Road.